Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Into the Woods podcast and another segment of the Path Less Traveled. I'm Rachael Magowan.
And I'm Kara Sage.
Today, we are talking about some exciting things happening from the cosmos perspective, as we always cover, with the end of July approaching and the beginning of August happening. So we wanted to just give you insight into what's been going on. We, of course, have had the Mercury retrograde for the last 3 or so weeks that I'm sure you all have been aware of and maybe have felt in different ways. I know, Kara, it's been a ride for you.
It's been a ride. I'm surviving. I'm still there, but I think this one's been a little extra emotional, right? It was in Cancer season. And Cancer, like it does as a water sign, and the crab gets us really in our shell. So even if you are out in the summer, doing things, being active, you are still having a lot going on under the waves inside your shell. And I think that that's what's really been illuminated for us if we really look into that. There's just been a lot of inner things happening. How do we feel about this? How is this affecting us? And we've had to kind of go inward. I do think there's been a lot of water issues with people, especially in my area. I know a lot of people who have had different floodings and things like that.
Historic flooding in Cincinnati.
Yes.
If you've been watching the news, it's happened twice during this Mercury retrograde. Never before flooding. People are skeptical of, no, hello, water sign, Mercury retrograde, hello, flooding.
Yeah, flooding, things breaking down, your washer leaking, things like that, all happening. Most of those happen to me. Travel disruptions, technology disruptions.
Yes.
So this is all these little things are taps from the universe to show us where we're at, what's resonating or not, what we need to look at, and where we're going. And we might not know in that moment. And we were talking earlier, Rachel, about the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So now that we're officially out as of yesterday, we have this shadow period where we're kind of cocooning in, okay, what is this for us? Now that we've been through that, what is this leading us into? And next week, we'll find that that's the Aquarius Full Moon. And that is our next step and our next marker.
We have the Aquarius Full Moon that's happening on July 29th. As full moons, it's an illumination time. We've had this reflective period during this Mercury retrograde where things have come up and things have literally been broken and emotions have been heightened. So now that we have this clarity and things that have come up, what are we ready to release? The sign of Aquarius is very much about encouraging our authenticity and independent thinking, highlighting our friendships, community. It's very community focused and belonging, looking at situations from a wider perspective, supporting breaking free from outdated habits or expectations, balancing personal expressions with the needs of the collectives. So themes around freedom, future goals, identity, connection, this forward-thinking community base is what this full moon in Aquarius is all about.
So Aquarius being an air sign. So it is the water bearer. It's the person with the pitcher of water, but it's really an air sign. And a lot of people kind of get that mixed up. But air is our thoughts and thinking. Swords represent air in the tarot, and that's our thinking and our challenges too. But I like to think of Aquarius as very much an eagle eye view. I've seen, they have those funny zodiac sayings, and it's Aquarius, people person who dislikes people. And that's so true. It's we love the community. We love people, but we also, have that eagle eye view and kind of want to stay on our perch a little bit. That's how I think of Aquarius. But it is that technology that even with all the advances in AI and the way our society is going with these technological advances that are happening so quickly in this age of Aquarius, right? And that's debatable when that starts. Of course, that's another topic. But with the Aquarius, it's freedom seeking, but it is community building and technologically based. And after this Mercury retrograde, we've had a lot of issues with technology. So hopefully those are shifting out and getting a little better. But moons are gentle. The energy of moons are gentle. It is asking you to look at something without demanding. It's not a demand. It's that undercurrent. The moon is what's underneath, what needs light to be brought to it and come to the surface. So it's just these gentle nudges that lead us and kind of push us to move forward in the ways that we need to. And of course, we're in the Leo sun. And Leo is kind of the opposite of that, right? And so how do those work together? Well, Leo it's very heart-centered, but it's got a lot of that when you think of a lion, the confidence, the pride. There's a lot of the negative side could be ego, but it's basically that sun energy, that bursting energy of me and look at this shining versus the collective. So Aquarius is very much the collective of people and community. And Leo is, but what about me in this? How do I shine? How do I fit into my community?
Yeah.
And with all that I'm going through with these emotions coming out of Cancer season, Mercury retrograde, whatever I've been feeling, how do I bring that out in Lion season? And then Aquarius Moon helps balance that out with the collective needs in our community as well.
Yeah. And that is also very supportive of the fact that this week is a numerological week 3. And the energy of 3 is about growth, communication, creativity, speaking your truth. So exactly this other energy that's going on, this Leo season of having the confidence, being authentically you, is so supportive with this 3 energy. And then we have, on top of everything else, this beautiful first harvest festival, Lunasa, that is happening on August 1st. And I know that you have your gorgeous Wheel of the Year to talk about that. What I love about this as well, and I know you'll get into, is as we're really evaluating how we fit into this community with also being our authentic selves, Lunasa really does encourage us to have gratitude for where we've come and all that we've, experienced and the growth that we've had through this first half of the year. And so with anything, we should always start with gratitude of the appreciation for who we are and where we've come from and those that have helped us along the way as we step into this new version of ourselves. So I'll let you talk about the inner workings of Lunasa and just what a beautiful festival this is.
Okay, so my Wheel of the Year, I do love this. I think it's very, very pretty. So this talks about the 8 points of the Wheel of the Year. And I would say Lunasa, some people call it Lammas, but it is August 1st, and it is probably the least talked about. So this, I would say out of all 8, most people have heard of solstices, equinoxes, Samhain's, Halloween, right? Like this one is the least talked about. And it's really important because it is the first harvest. So when we think about, we have the peak time of the sun and the longest day of the year with summer solstice. Now we're getting into winding down to the winter solstice. So it's still a heightened high time, but we are winding down. And that's where we're seeing these fruits of our labor, fruits of our garden that are being produced. So a lot of those are, the berries on the vine, the tomatoes, all these things of the first harvest that we really have. And also when we remember the pagans had much colder climates, so their things weren't blooming as early. So when we have strawberries blooming much earlier in the year, that wasn't necessarily true for them. It was later. So this was their first harvest. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the Celtic god Lugh, L-U-G-H, he has to do with that as well. So he is, it's named for him, Lunasa. Lammas is a little bit easier to say, but it's when we're in these dog days of summer is what they like to call it. And it's a time of harvesting, but it's also hopes and fear. So we have to, like you said, start with gratitude and look at where we've come from. We're essentially just over halfway through the year, but we've got more of this harvest season to come. And we have to think, what have we planted with our thoughts, emotions, actions that could come to fruition, or maybe this isn't the season for it. And we have to understand that some things take longer to grow and to ripen. The tarot card that I like to associate with this is the 7 of Pentacles. And the 7 of Pentacles on the Rider-Waite deck, it's a man and he's kind of leaning on his rake or his farm equipment and he's looking at what he is growing. So it's these 7 pentacles in this beautiful blooming bush. And he's looking at all the work it took and reflecting on what it took to get that to grow. It's a card of manifestation too. So it's a nice point for us to look at what have we been putting our attention to and how, and do you want to shift that? So be grateful, see what's growing, but also realize if it's not exactly as you want it, you can go back to your own manifestations and try to get in there again and do some more gardening for the other harvests coming up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time. I know my parents that with their garden, the tomatoes have popped off. So I know we're having our community come out and pick, because my dad always plans way more than we need as a family. And I have a lot of friends and family coming to pick the fruits of his labor. But other ways to celebrate this festival: baking bread, sharing a meal, gathering the seasonal food, go to your community garden, go to the farmer's market and support your local farmers, and making a gratitude list, like we said, of just being very appreciative of what has come as we step into this manifestation time. Another episode, we're going to talk about the Lionsgate portal, which is always on August 8th, and just all that represents, and just the heightened manifestation power that that date has. But yeah, just, being grateful for where we've come from, because like attracts like. And, when we're giving gratitude, it's going to come back to us in the same way. So as Kara sort of said, just to wrap up, of sharing these two things that are going on: the Aquarius full moon, Lunasa, recognizing what has come to fruition, releasing what no longer supports your future, celebrating personal growth, honoring community and shared abundance, and choosing what you want to nourish during the next season.
I think that is such a good point, Rachel, because it's the same with that Seven of Pentacles, that guy looking at his garden, looking at what he's done, and kind of really reflecting on, look how beautiful this is. What would I change for next year? What would I change for next season? So we're at the height of harvesting what we've been doing and what we've been moving through this year. And it's our first time to really reflect on that. And I think that's a beautiful time to be celebrated. One last thing, if people do want to do an altar, like you said, baking bread is great. So anything with grains, bread, you can do soft scarves, any type of fruit or herbs or flowers, especially things that are blooming at this time, is a wonderful way to kind of set a gratitude altar up for this time.
I love it. I hope this was helpful. If this resonated with you, or you can think of someone that would love to get these messages as we step into the season, please share it. Please provide us with a review, and we will be back on the Path Less Traveled to talk about more astrology soon. Thanks for being here. Have a great one.